Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching in the world. Sean Driver, the Red Horde, and the Who Are You series. It's back. It is Cambridge United up on Saturday. If you haven't been here before, this is what we do. Who Are You series. We follow that up with the watch along. Well, you can see the little badge down there. Watch along, watch party, where we end up 57 different countries have shown up. We have a good time. Community, if you're looking for a chat group to end up getting to know, seeing my reaction, having a little bit of fun, new interactivity that's happening, come and join us for that on Saturday. Also, when we have time, we do some hors d'oeuvres where we take a look at things that happen off the pitch and how they happen on the pitch. This one with Cambridge United, going to be interesting because don't know what we're going to get. And that's not Jekyll and Hyde mentality. That's just really as to personnel. This is a confusing one. Tried to figure out and plan what we do. That's what you can expect. We're going to look at the gaffer. We're going to look at the owners. We're going to look at the club, the stadium, the history, the whole 9 yards, because the question is Cambridge United. Let's get into it. Jump that one into transition because I want to get right into it and get through all these details. Trying to do this all into one take, and this is the form that you're going to get used to seeing. Cambridge United FC, the details. They're the U's, also known as the Amber Army. I only take that up because I see that at Abbey Stadium. They've got that on the back wall, so I'm going to assume that it's there, even though Wikipedia tells me different. 146,995 within the population of Cambridge Cambridge. That is sixth largest in the League One as it sits. Our last match with them got to go back to 2014, 10 years ago, back when they dipped down into the National League and toiled and suffered with us while we were there. Last season, towards the bottom of League One, 18th overall. One thing I forgot to mention, they were formed in 1912 then as Abbey United. There was a Cambridge United back then. That one since folded, so they changed their name to Cambridge United. We'll get into the details when I bring up the chart as far as their history, but some immediate success, sort of rocketed up as you were, and then some struggles in the National League, and it's easier when you see the graph. Last season, 18th overall in League One. Their turnover, not bad, all things considered. And in my head, I had Cambridge United, although yes, Cambridge and the University of Cambridge and all that history and the posh, well, it's not posh, Peterborough posh, but posh in the sense that money. I thought that they'd be doing a little bit less than what they are. 7.1, not bad for turnover. 14th overall in the League One. Their profit loss, 1.7 million. That was 2022, 2023. And their social media, 268,461 across all five major platforms. That puts them 16th in League One. So again, not doing poorly. Like when it comes to Cambridge United, they just don't trigger for me as a massive club. But they're middle of League One with a relatively new history, 1970, and so doing not bad. As far as distance, 16th largest trip, sort of towards the middle, 270 kilometers, 168 miles. We'll bring up the map. That's 3 hours and 18 minutes drive time. Pretty small allocation, but then a smaller stadium. Capacity is only 8,127. That Abbey Stadium, will bring up the picture, but an interesting history there because they had it earmarked to be sold, redeveloped, moved elsewhere, and that was back in 2006, and then it kind of languished forever. And then they brought the stadium back into the club, and now it's being used, and now they're talking refurbishing there. So lots going on with the stadium as far as talk, no hammers swinging anywhere. 82% they filled to the capacity, so that was 6,679 as far as attendance. And their pitch dimensions, smack dab in the middle, average for League One, 8,140 square yards. That is tied for 13th. Going to look at the statistics here for the year that we've compiled for you. Wrexham 12-4-3. We're sitting in second. Cambridge United 4 wins, 4 draws, 10 losses, has them in 22nd. But hit the pause button and had to for a reason. I looked at the graphic and I saw at the very, very bottom that the away and the home was switched. This obviously is going to be a home game at the race course for this one. That's evidenced by the 9-1-0 record. But I mistakenly didn't change the ranking of tied for 12th. Wrexham far away in first place for their home record. I've confirmed with the away record, they being Cambridge United, sitting there 1 win, 1 loss, or 1 win, 1 draw, 7 losses away from Abbey Stadium. Going through the rest of the stats, goals for 28 for Wrexham, 18 overall for the season. That ranks us as 6th, them for tied for 15th. The goals against, number 1 in the league, 11, and by some margin. It's interesting. We've slid down. Goals for, we were at the top, near the top. Just got passed by Wickham. Now we're falling down a little bit further, going all the way down to down to 6th overall. But you end up taking a look at the goals for at home. 21, that has us first. Goals against at home, 4th, that has us first. The race course, the fortress that has been built there, a real thing, an imposition for those teams coming in to the Kairas. Looking at Cambridge United, goals against, 20th overall in the league. That's a little high, allowing 29 goals. Their away record, they've only scored 5 goals. 5 goals away from Abbey Stadium. That going into the Kairas, that just doesn't scream for success. And their goals against, 20th overall in the league. They've allowed 18. So really, as far as the numbers go, just looking at records home and away, you think this one's going to be fairly obvious in the result. But there are some questions to be asked, at least when you look at overall. Shots on target per 90, really damn close. 3.79 to 3.67. We've been far more efficient. 36% of our goals going in. That's a slide down. We've gone from 41%, 38% recently, now down to 36%. The offense not really chugging along. Marriott being away, nobody being able to pick up the slack, and so you're starting to see that show in the results, which also speaks to maybe how much we miss Marriott, and that's something to consider. But for them, 26% shots on target against. We do not bad, despite the fact that we're throttling it with our goals against. We're still giving up 3.84, which is middle of the pack, and for them 4.61, a little bit high as far as shots on target against. Save percentage, herein lies the difference at 86.1%. Interestingly enough, almost 10 full percentage points over second place, Wrexham. So it's 77.5% for the team that's in second place. That's mad. That's absolutely mad, and we'll see what ends up happening. I assume it's going to be Brad that's going to run, not Chomp, but we'll see. I don't know. Do they trust the new guy? Do they want to go with the KG veteran? I guess that's the question to be asked for us. For Cambridge United, 66.7%, which is middle of the table. So not bad. Possession, close to each other near the middle of the table. Interestingly enough, this is, I think, the first time that we've had possession stats higher than the team that we're playing against. It's not by much. We're at the bottom of the table, but it's there. Accurate passes, they're the same. Accurate crosses per match, one difference. Accurate long balls, I guess that's the difference, is we tend to do a lot more lobbing over top. But even on the Fought Malbec's goals, not a big difference. They're just not converting. And so this statistic, unlike the home and away, tends to think that Cambridge is going to be able to keep it close. And that's why when I end up predicting a score, you look at the home away and you really think this is going to be a thumper, 4-0, 4-1. We're going to dance our way to success. I'm not so positive on it. And I think I'm probably only going to go with a 2-0 score. We'll see what ends up happening. But that's my early prediction. Here's the weird news. This is not the name I want to see as the referee. Scott Oldham, and that's not because he calls the game different or because he has a style that doesn't match with Wrexham. It's just simply this. We can't win against this guy. In fact, of all of the teams with more than 6 games played involving Scott Oldham, we have the worst record of anybody else. 1 win, 0 draws, 6 losses. That 1 win coming against Barrow. And we had him earlier this year. We had him in the Birmingham game. And so it's just maybe the club just doesn't play well. They see him and they freak out. I don't know what it is. But the good news, if there is good news, the second worst team out of the 48-ish teams that have played 6 games or more involving Scott Oldham. The second worst team, Cambridge United. 1 win, 1 draw, and 5 losses. So both teams suck in front of this guy, which is another reason why I don't think it'll be a 4-0 one, just because superstition and there's weird things that happen with referees. It's like the St. Louis Blues and the Vancouver Canucks. We can never beat them. We just lost to them just yesterday. It's just one of those weird, quirky sports things that you just can't understand. So that's the season stats. Look, I'm going to jump into it, even though that we're not doing the travel. I'll get rid of this one here, bring in there. There is the travel distance over to Cambridge, home of the University of Cambridge. Is it known for anything else? I don't think so. Anyway, 3 hours, 18 minutes Mind you, that's 8 o'clock in the morning over there as I'm filming this, and it's telling me the Google travel time. So it could be a little bit more than that. There is Abbey Stadium for when we get there. A pretty nondescript stadium, to be completely frank. There's not really a lot of history, despite it being sort of an older building. And it's sort of been left to languish in its present form for an extended period of time. This is what we were talking about with the stats, the up and down and the up and down. They ran all the way up into the championship, or Tier 2, sorry. Tier 2 as it was, now the championship, in relative short succession after being promoted in 72 and then coming back down and ratcheting back up 76, 77, then back to back 77, 78, and then they spent some time up in the league, and then they fall back down and they get back up there in 1990, 1991. So the slide then happens. They spend some time in the National League with us, where we played them about a decade ago. And now they're back into Tier 3, Tier 4. It's interesting, even though they've spent all this time up in the third division and a blip in the second, I'd suggest you look at the scale of things, and their home is probably more naturally compared to other teams in that Tier 4 group, that league, the fourth tier, the League 2 area. That's where I would have them pegged, as if you're going by the English who is bigger scale of, income, fan size, all that sort of stuff. That's where it would have them pegged. And look, let's have a look at the jersey. I've been calling them Newport on psychedelics, and tell me I'm wrong. Have a look at these. This one's fairly standard, but doesn't that look like Newport? But then you get past that. That's their away that they're going to be bringing. I'm going to go cross-eyed staring at the screen trying to follow that. Don't drop anything before you get into this game. And by drop anything, I'm talking like coffee, right? That sort of stuff. Maybe they'll bust out their thirds, which, interestingly enough, one of the higher ranked for all the jerseys in League One this year. Then they've got the goalkeeper kits. What's interesting to me too, also, that's their pre-match. It's like golf team Newport meets Newport County meets psychedelics. That's their jerseys. Anyway, Gary Monk, the manager, had a time with Leeds United, with Middlesbrough, with Birmingham, and spent 3 years away from football, and now he's back with Cambridge. I almost called them Newport. With Cambridge United. Their owner, I don't know what to say about their owners. They did do a rejig back a couple of months ago, end of October. Paul Berry and Mark Green picking up 10% that they did. Somebody bought in during the pandemic, helped support the club, that sort of stuff. They've now been bought back out by Paul Berry and Mark Green. Paul owns just over 75%, 5.01. Mark Green, 24.99. I don't know if he's American, because it references him being a long-standing Cambridge United season ticket holder. He went to college in New York. He presently is listed on LinkedIn as living in the Seattle and Portland area. He's got a history within the sort of the tourism industry, had a business, sold it, European travel, some sort of thing. So he's been connected over to that side of the pond, even being on the west coast of North America. But an American connection in any event, for whatever that's worth. There's the man, Scott Oldham. I just don't know why. He's the kryptonite to Wrexham, and maybe it's a good thing that we play a team that he's also the kryptonite for them too, which leads me to, before getting into the players, talking about, and yeah, let's just do it. I was going to be like, maybe somebody's going to make a wrong connection, but I always make comparisons to a UK food, and for Cambridge United, I'm going with this one. Spotted Dick. Yeah. Currants or raisins or something within that little cakey thing with some cream, sometimes butter, throw it on top. The reason I called it that, a traditional dessert that's sort of fallen out of favor. And I don't know, it's traditional. Cambridge, I don't know, it had to come up with something. And that's what it ended up being. This one is where it's going to get ugly. And normally I take specific players and I pull them aside and I'm like, this is who to watch and who not to watch and all those sorts of things. If you look at the lineup that Mr. Monk has been putting forward for the U's, it's all over the board. And there's no rhyme or reason that I can identify, even from position to player selection to personnel. And let's just deal with it. There is one consistent. And so let's talk about it, and that is Corey Smith, number 14. He's going to be playing in the midfield. Guaranteed. 97.9% of the minutes for Cambridge United, he's been on the pitch. He's been like the one beam of consistency in a mess of everybody gets a chance to play and prove a thing, which I guess is a byproduct of a team that's struggling. You're putting in different combinations and you're trying to make things work, and it may not be working. The other consistent that you can anticipate is going to be out there is the one in the middle wearing number 27, Vicente Philip Reyes Nunez. Another American-born player, but he plays his national, at least up to the U23s, with Chile. And so a very capable young goalkeeper who stepped in and by all accounts, a decent season. Middle of the table as far as save percentage, and so you can't criticize that for the young keeper. So that's what we know we're going to get. Where does it get ugly? In the middle of the pitch, they're largely going to be without Jubril Okadina. He picked up a red card, a punch in the face in the box that got spotted by the referee. I don't know what he was doing at the time. It was a free kick and there was a bit of a melee and you just see him there and all of a sudden I'm not going to say he threw it from a distance. It wasn't like it was a reach up and grab the jersey and start chucking knuckles. He just kind of put his fist on the guy's jaw and just gave it a push. And in football, you know what's going to happen. It's the guy went down like a limp noodle and was out, laying there suffering, and so the red card came out. Wasn't much into it, but you just can't do that in football. So he's been suspended. This will be the last game of his 3-game sentence. And so they've had to bring in other people to fill in the gaps. But what they've done is they've brought in, Rossi has been filling in 49.4% of the minutes. But the surprise that they may have found is this Watts kid. He's only had 5 matches played, 2 starts, both of them recent here because of the suspension. And Cambridge United has been playing relatively well with him in the back. Is he the complete answer as to why things have changed? Probably not. But if you're the coach, you're wondering, I'm sure when Okadina comes back, Okadina, by the way, consider there's news reports that he's supposed to be at another level. But they've been getting results from this Watts kid, and there's only so many players that are out there. So not clear who's going to be in the back. They are short James Gibbons and Paul Digby, who are midfielders. Gibbons is listed. Gibbons is there, and Digby is a midfielder. They're out with injuries. Both of them happened about 4 weeks ago. I believe it's 6 to 8 weeks more for Gibbons to come back, 2 to 4 weeks more for Digby to come back. So you had Okadina out, Gibbons out, Digby out. That's 3 guys who are supposed to be in their starting 11, and they're missing. So the back line, I think, is going to be set by necessity. I anticipate that you're going to see Watts. I anticipate you're going to see Rossi, and I anticipate you're going to see this Daniel Andrew character as the other replacement or the other player on their back line. But this is where it gets fascinating to me is their front. They've been struggling to score goals, and when you're struggling to score goals, you're looking for options, and you really only have 4. I say that because, and I just don't want to be ageist, but I'm just looking at Mr. Barton. And I don't know if he's ready. I'm old. That's how I realize I'm old, is because he looks, I swear, like I looked when I was 10. But there he is in a Cambridge United kit. Fascinating stuff. He's got to have some special talent, so maybe I shouldn't be so critical because that must be impressive. But you compare, these are the 4, 10, 11, 19, 34. That's Kachunga, Kaikai, Lavery, and Njoku. 60% to 37.3% of the minutes between the group of them. Sort of difficult to anticipate what you're going to get. And they're all performing relatively well with the exception of Njoku. Njoku, he's been out there 15 matches, played 8 starts. He's played 41% of the minutes. He only has 1 goal to show for it. For everybody else, they're contributing at a fairly decent pace. Kachunga, he's only got 2 goals in his 55%. Kaikai, number 11, he's got 13 matches played, 6 starts, and he's got 3 goals. And then you've got Lavery, who's 10 matches played, 7 starts for 40%, and he's got 4 goals and an assist. So who knows? They play a 4-4-3, roll the dice and pick 3 of them, and really no way of predicting what's going on. But as far as what I normally do to say, hey, look at this guy, see what he can do. These are his stats. Really tough to do with Cambridge United because the injuries, again, Gibbons, Digby, the suspension, Okadina, the mass changes up front. Going to be a mixed bag. The one thing that is interesting in the question you can ask is you're coming into the race course. I would suggest that what you want is you want some cagey veterans. And I don't think that Cambridge United is going to be able to do that. The players that are largely healthy are of the younger variety, those that are in on loan. They'll have some young talent, and who knows, maybe the youth and being blind, the youth being blind, they're up for the game, they could go for it. But I think you'd want the veteran stuff. And so for me, 2-0 is my prediction. We've already done the assessment of the food. My score prediction is out there, 2-0. Hey, if you like this thing, you know what you can do is there's a like button right down below. Hit that. Even better, hit the subscribe button. Wanted to pull in and talk to you up close and personal. So we're going to be here Saturday. The questions are these, and I need to talk to Brendan. It's a 4 a.m. in the morning start for the EFL trophy draw, and I don't know who people want in that draw, but you know, there's Chesterfield, there's Port Vale, there's Rotherham, there's the difference between Blackpool and Aston Villa U21s, there's Bolton. I'm missing one team, and I'm trying to think, Lincoln City. So out of those 7 groups, I don't know who people want. I think for me it's Chesterfield, just because of the history is a little bit, we haven't had that connection with any of the other teams, and so throw them in there just to add a little bit of fun and background story to the round of 16. So do I want to be there for the draw? Yes. Do I have a Christmas party the night before? Also, yes. Do I have a long day at work planned where I'm going to be suited up and booted? Yes. And so am I going to be able to pull it off? I don't know. So I want to talk to Brendan, because he may just get stiffed with it despite my best intentions. So we'll have that chat. If I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I might as well pick up one of the games. So we might have a neutral watch along. Again, got to talk to Brendan and see if I don't end up waking up, are you okay? And then we're here for the game against Cambridge United, where we go on the search for another win and I won't even say it. There's been a lot of goose eggs on the board, and we'll see what ends up happening there. Knock on all the wood. The women, they've got Barrytown on Sunday. We'll be here for that. So stop by, check us out. Glad you stopped by for this one. You made it through the whole thing. And again, that subscribe button, that like button down below. Come and see us, do the thing, and I'm out. See you Saturday. Have a good one. Bye.